You ever have one of those weeks where it feels like the universe is daring you to blink first? Yeah, that's how it all started for me. Let me back up a sec. I just moved into my dream house at Sycamore Ridge, one of those little pockets of suburbia where everyone waves. Lawns are suspiciously green, and the biggest drama should have been whether the trash cans are out before sunrise. But let me tell you what actually happened. Well, buckle up. The house itself was perfect, at least for a guy like me who actually reads zoning laws for fun. Single family, not in the HOA, privately zoned. I checked every line on the deed before I bought it. Paranoid, sure, but after years as a construction engineer, you learn the difference between close enough and by the book. So when I decided to build a 6-foot composite fence around my new pool, I did it with stamped permits, city inspector approval, and enough overkill on safety to make OSHA blush. I even got a compliment from the city guy. Probably the safest pool in the zip code. That's the dream, right? Private, safe, nobody's business but my own. Well, that was the dream. Right up until I got the first letter, all proper letterhead, and that damn little oak tree logo. You know the one. It practically screams, "We have rules, and we like using them." Karen Drayton, HOA president, wanted me to know that my fence oppressed the visual harmony of the neighborhood and, get this, placed an emotional burden on the community. I actually laughed. Emotional burden? Lady, it's a fence, not the Berlin Wall. I figured a quick letter back from my lawyer, plus copies of my land deed and permits, would shut it down. I was wrong. 2 days later, I catch Karen herself, tablet in hand, peeking over my fence like she's on a secret mission. She's got that look. If you've ever met a Karen, you know the one. Like she was born to tell you what's wrong with your life. She claims my property, though technically outside the HOA, still affects the visual unity of her fiefdom. I point out that her authority stops at my deed. She snaps pictures anyway and warns me it isn't over. Suddenly, things get weird. Cameras start popping up, clearly pointed at my yard. Anonymous flyers get stuffed under my doormat. Say no to visual pollution, with grainy, obviously stalkerish photos of my fence. And just when I think it's overkill, there's a knock at my door. I get served, official summons, Sycamore Ridge HOA v. Trevor Manley. Their case? Hazardous visual obstructions and emotional distress caused by aesthetic discord. You can't make this stuff up. Now, I'm not someone who goes looking for a fight, but you push me, I push back. So my lawyer and I hit back hard. Land deed, certified survey, permit, a threat of civil harassment countersuit. But this thing, it's snowballing. Next thing I know, there are picket signs on the sidewalk. Keep Sycamore safe. Stop the fence. People I've never met are standing out front yelling about anarchy, and my niece finds an anti-fence flyer on her car at the grocery store. That's when it stops being funny. I dig through the court complaint, and there it is, some made-up nonsense about my property falling within the architectural influence perimeter of the HOA. Influence perimeter? That's not law. That's a Karenism. But the court didn't toss it out. Now I'm in a legal cage match against a bunch of rule-happy neighbors who want to win by exhaustion. They weaponize the system, draining my time, money, patience. There's surveillance, concerned citizen emails, even the city inspector randomly showing up asking about my pool drainage. I start to feel like prey, honestly. But here's the twist. Right about when I'm ready to snap, I realize Karen and her crew aren't just fighting over a fence. They're fighting to see if they can bully someone with the rules. And they picked the wrong guy. So I counterattack. We file abuse of process, privacy violation, and defamation suits. I hire a surveyor and zoning specialist who obliterate their influence perimeter, fantasy, GPS data, permits, city records. Meanwhile, Karen tries to impress the court with her expert, a washed-up, unlicensed home inspector with a personal grudge. I catch him in a lie, tie it back to Karen's own HOA fines, and hand it all to the judge. Her so-called expert gets tossed, her credibility takes a hit, and suddenly, the story flips. That's when things go viral. I throw up a simple website. My fence, my right. I post the survey, permits, the ridiculous complaint. Let people see for themselves. Neighbors start talking, the site hits Reddit, then the local news. Suddenly, I'm not the one being isolated, Karen is. Court heats up. The HOA comes in with a dramatic new map, claiming my property was always meant to be under their thumb, complete with digital signatures and official-looking lines. my lawyer, and I get it checked by a tech expert. Turns out, the whole thing was whipped up by Karen on her laptop the night before, doctored to make it look old. The judge is not amused, calls it what it is, material misrepresentation. Next thing, Karen's getting cuffed in open court. The room goes silent. Someone literally clutches their pearls, and the rest of the board suddenly remembers they have other things to do. But here's the kicker. Karen sues her own HOA, claims they pushed her into it, blames gender bias, even though half the board's women. And the whole HOA turns into a civil war. Apologies start showing up at my door. People who'd been waving picket signs now drop off casseroles. Didn't know it was this serious, man. The board collapses. My backyard is quiet again. No drones, no joggers, no flyers. Just the sound of the pool pump under my legal fence. But the fight's not really over. Because everywhere I look, people are getting steamrolled by HOAs over stupid stuff. Mailbox colors, garden gnomes, wheelchair ramps. That's when I decide to build HOA Shield, a free website with jurisdiction checkers, permit guides, letter templates, and a Karen scale for rating HOA horror stories. Within a week, the site blows up. People finally have a place to push back. And yeah, the haters show up. You're promoting anarchy, one HOA president gripes online. Honestly, that tells me I'm doing something right. Even the city council asks me to speak. The story hits the news. Karen's name becomes internet shorthand for HOA tyranny. People start posting "view is not equal to jurisdiction" memes. Someone even pasted on bumper stickers in the courthouse parking lot. When the final hearing rolls around, Karen's out on bail, the board's in shambles, and I'm just tired. The HOA's lawyers try to play it down. Misunderstanding, rogue actor. All that. But the judge isn't having it. He calls out every board member who signed the fake complaint, lays out the facts, and then looks at me. "Anything to add, Mr. Manley?" I tell him straight. I just wanted to live here, not go viral, not become a symbol, not get stalled for following the rules. But this fence, it's not just a line on my property. It's a line between privacy and power trips, between neighbors and bullies. If we want real communities, we have to stop pretending that conformity equals unity. Judge rules 2 days later, 15-page smackdown. HOA has no authority, acted in bad faith, owes me nearly $500,000 in damages and legal fees. Karen gets indicted for fraud. I get a letter from the new interim board. "Sorry for everything. Your privacy will be respected, no further contact." I frame it, right next to the breaker panel in the garage. You know what I did next? Put up a little wooden sign on my fence. "Private property, HOA free zone." Just for the irony. HOA Shield grows faster than I could have imagined. People everywhere sharing victories, fighting back, not just giving up when the clipboard warriors come knocking. It turns out, all it takes is one person refusing to blink first. A couple months later, I write an op-ed, and suddenly, I'm that fence guy at the hardware store. Neighbors nod when I walk by. No words, just respect. And that's enough for me. But here's the open question, the part one can't stop thinking about. If Karen hadn't gotten caught, if the fake map had worked, how many more fences would come down? How many more people would just fold? So, where's the line between order and overreach, between neighborhood and nosiness, between protecting your home and becoming a target? You tell me. Drop your take down below. Who was right? Who was wrong? Where should the power really stop? And hey, if you've got your own battle scars from the HOA wars, let's hear those stories. Because nobody's fixing this unless we call it out together.